Ever feel like you're kind of like battling it out with your own brain?
Yeah.
Like, why is it such a struggle to actually stick with a new habit or,
Mhm.
not give in to those tempting distractions?
Mhm.
Well, get ready because in this deep dive, we're going to like decode that game. We're
Yeah.
talking all about the power of incentives.
Mhm.
So we're diving into Incentivism, a book proposal you shared. And, it's not just about like bonuses and gold stars and stuff. This is about understanding these like hidden forces that are shaping our choices every single day.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's the really cool part. We're going to connect these big ideas to something I bet you use all the time. Duolingo. Yeah, that little green owl. Not just teaching you Spanish, my friend.
Right.
It's using like a seriously powerful psychological principle,
Mhm.
and we're going to break it all down.
It's true. Incentivism really, I think, challenges those ideas we have about rewards and punishments. It's arguing that if we really want to get motivation, we got to look like way deeper. It's about the why behind what we do, not just like the surface stuff.
Which is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
This book proposal, it dives into something called prospect theory. Can you like break that down? Because this feels like the core of everything.
Oh, absolutely. Prospect theory, basically, it's all about how our brains deal with like winning and losing stuff. And turns out we're not exactly, the most rational about it. See, we naturally frame things like compared to something else, not just for what they are.
Okay, I'm not sure I get it. What an example of
So
it?
imagine your boss gives you a $10 raise. Sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But then you find out your coworker got a $20 raise. Suddenly you in bucks. Not so exciting anymore. Same actual amount, but like your comparison point totally changed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I totally get that. It's all about like who you compare yourself to.
Exactly. And you know what? This all ties into the second big idea from prospect theory, loss aversion.
Okay, now I'm really interested. Tell me more about this whole loss aversion thing.
So loss aversion, basically we hate losing. Like way more than we enjoy getting the same thing. It's crazy how much stronger that feeling is. Incentivism gave this really interesting example. There was a research study, and they found that people would rather take a gamble if it meant they wouldn't lose something, even if the odds were bad.
Uh,
They'd rather risk it than, face losing for sure.
so it's like losing something just feels that much worse.
Way worse. And that's even if winning something else would, objectively be better for them.
That's wild. It's like if you think you lost your wallet,
Yeah.
that feeling is so much worse than the joy of finding a random 20 bucks.
Exactly.
So, okay, if we like really hate losing things,
Mm-hmm.
how does that explain my weird obsession with Duolingo?
Uh-huh. See, you're getting it. Duolingo, with those streaks, it's like the perfect example of loss aversion.
Okay, but like explain it to me. How can something so simple, just streak, how can that tap into something so like deep in our brains?
Because it's about, like what you were just saying, that feeling of ownership. Every day you keep that streak going. You're not just learning new words, you're building something. It becomes like this thing you're proud of. It shows how committed you are.
Right. You know what? I gotta admit, seeing those little flames on Duolingo, it does make me feel kind of good. Like, yeah, I'm on a roll.
Exactly. And that's the genius of it, breaking that streak. It's not just about skipping a day of practice. It's like losing that whole feeling of accomplishment, all the work you put in. It's loss aversion, working its magic.
Wow. Okay. Suddenly those owl reminders don't seem so annoying. They're like my little, motivation buddies
Yeah.
reminding me what I'll lose if I don't do it. But it's not just Duolingo, is it? Streaks are everywhere now. My fitness tracker, those meditation apps, even my to-do list has streaks.
You're totally right. And you know what that tells us? Even little tiny incentives, if they're designed the right way, they can totally change how we act.
It really makes you think. If it works for, like, learning a language or working out, what else could we use it for?
And that is exactly the question incentivism wants us to ask. What if we took these principles, these like brain hacks, and tried using them in totally new ways?
So we've gone from, like, lost wallets and random $20 bills to my Duolingo addiction.
Yeah.
And it's all thanks to this incentivism thing. But you know what's really got me thinking? If we humans are like hardwired to react to these incentives, even if we don't realize it, doesn't that mean there's a huge opportunity here?
Absolutely. Incentivism really drives home this point that if we can like wrap our heads around these psychological things, we can actually use that knowledge to build better systems that encourage good behavior in all sorts of areas, not just, language learning.
Okay, so give me an example. How could this work in the real world?
Well, think about something like saving for retirement. It's something a lot of people struggle with, right?
Yeah.
And it's because the reward, it just feels so far off. But what if, instead of focusing on that distant future, we thought about it like a financial health streak?
Oh, interesting.
Each month that you save, you're not just putting money away, you're keeping that streak alive.
Right.
You're building that sense of accomplishment, that I'm on a roll feeling.
That's actually really clever. It's like tricking your brain into doing the right thing.
Exactly. And think about the possibilities. Imagine like cities designed to make eco-friendly choices more rewarding,
Oh, well.
or workplaces that use these principles to boost collaboration.
It's like we're talking about hacking human behavior, but like for a good cause. This whole deep dive has been seriously eye-opening. It's amazing how much these subtle things like motivation and incentives, how much they really affect us. So next time you open up Duolingo, just remember, you're not just learning how to say hello in another language. You're basically like living, breathing proof of behavioral science in action.
That's a great way to put it.
And who knows, maybe if we all start thinking a little more about incentivism, we can actually like nudge ourselves and the whole world in a better direction. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.